Hi friends! My Suqqu package finally arrived. I received PR from the team. A huge thank you to them again for that generous gift. I will post the video up above in the card and down below so you can take a look at those products. But I ordered the remaining of the Autumn Winter 2022 collection from Suqqu. I emailed the Suqqu counter at Selfridges for pre-order. I had the whole list down, okay? I gave the numbers, the names of the palettes, because this collection embraced me. When I saw the PR kit and all the products on Instagram, I was captivated, and I'm still in that grasp, looking at all these Suqqu products in front of me. This was a rather large purchase, so large that they even included a gift makeup bag in the package. You got Suqqu etched here on the zipper. This is like a plastic kind of faux material that looks pebbled in nature. You have the handle here on the top. What looks to be satin lined, maybe. A compartment here, another here. And this is where I kept all of my Suqqu products, so I don't get them mixed up with my other ones. And if it's your first time here, hi, I'm Alicia, an online coach who specializes in flexibility, bodyweight training, helping those acquire sustainable nutrition and movement habits so that we can live well and not feel depleted, and all the while apply our Suqqu. Some of these items are limited edition ones, but I believe, and please double check on this because I had said the wrong date in my original video. My friend had texted me to say, hey, Suqqu is live. I'm like, I thought it was gonna be live tomorrow. The next day I remember from the PR kit was August 5th. So please follow Suqqu Europe on Instagram just to make sure, because in August, these items will be available on Harrods, Cult Beauty, and I believe Liberty London. Some of these might still be available on Selfridges, but I'm not entirely sure. I have not checked. All the links will be down below for Selfridges at least, and when these become live on the other online retailers, I'll make sure to update those links down below. Let's start with the I have my notebook because there's a lot of numbers and names. Let's begin with the signature color eye quads. Again, there's one limited edition quad which I had originally showed in my first video, 117 Acure, which has the beautiful, as they like to call it, ash green, this more neutral brown, the duochrome shade, and overall just incredibly beautiful, and I think a favorite among many. I also showed 09, which is the Kaori Kaze, the maple red, and I believe it is also a honey gold with this lovely olive toned matte. And I purchased both 10 and 11. So again, 117, the one with the ash green shade, is limited edition, but 09, 10, and 11 are permanent to the collection. I just showed you 9. Here is number 10, Irohaatsume. This, described to be sepia brown and bronze. I wore this yesterday and man, it is exquisite. Quickly swatching these shades, we first have a topper-like shade, which is like a quartz seashell pink, and then we have more of a taupe shimmer, the yellow gold, and this is more neutral brown compared to the more red brown found in the summer quad. But look at the richness of that yellow. It almost has just an orange hue to it. Compared to this gold from 09, I'll quickly compare. We have, I think, a little more of that champagne-y gold from the 09 gold shade. This is my favorite. It is lovely, so soft, really subtle on the lids, but gives just the right amount of smoke. And yes, I am speaking for my skin tone, so sound off below if you have number 10, what skin tone you are, what your experience is with the shade. I will apply that on the eyes later on in the video because, oh my goodness. And lastly, we have number 11, Yoiyukari Icy Gray Shimmer Purple. Let's quickly swatch these shades. Again, we have this topper-like shade, and we have the icy blue shade, shimmery purple with the more taupe brown. This is such a cool leaning shade. Dare I say, it's like an abridged Moonlit Seduction. As I'm looking at this now, right? Like this is the blue flip that kind of exists in VR Sextasy. This is like a mixture of Platinum Dusk and Blitz Venus. This is, well, I guess maybe a little too cool. I would say this is like the shimmery version, maybe more magenta leaning to Plum Cabaret. And this is like Extreme Nocturne, except this might have, no, I think it's like a Toby Brown also. So look at that. If you vibed with the colors in Moonlit Seduction, but you're not down to put all your money into $128, this is expensive too, no doubt. But if you just want a more minimalist approach to your eyeshadow, but love those shades, number 11 could be it. Quickly comparing number 10 with 115 from the summer collection Enka. 115 stole my heart. That summer collection also, I have to say, ever since Suqqu dropped their spring collection, it has been hitting. Comparing that shade with the brown from number 10, and I think just based off what I'm seeing here quickly, again, this is the matte from Enka 115. This is the matte from number 10. 115 has a little more red in there. Number 10, leaning, you can still detect the red. Excuse me, hello focus, but it's still more brown in terms of the overall undertone. And I would say also this yellow from Enka is like a lighter, more antique yellow versus the one in number 10. So this is the shade from Enka. This is from number 10. You see number 10 has a lot more yellow, and Enka, it's just like a lighter yellow, but it also has something else in there. It's like there's like a blue flip, which is hard to detect on camera, but when you shine a light hard on it, you can see there's like an icy blue. There's icy blue pearls in the formula, which I think makes it so unique. So those are the quads. I also purchased the remainder of the Nuance eyeliners. These three are all limited edition shades. I already showed Dusty Pink, which dries a little more on like the lavender gray side, but beautiful color. Next up, we have 104 Olive, which has a more yellow undertone, and you can kind of see that on the edges of the swatch. And lastly, we have 105 Saffron Orange, deep red toned yellow. So here are the swatches for the Nuance eyeliners. I think incredibly unique shades. I cannot wait to pair these with the quads. Up next are the blushes. We have two new shades to the melting powder formula. These are two permanent shades, 09 and 0. There go the lids. 09, we have Karenzaki, which is described to be a soft beige with pink pearl. Very light, as you see. For me, this will serve more as a blush topper to add a little bit of sheen on the cheeks. And the melting blush formula in Suqqu is like a hybrid texture. It feels moussey, creamy, almost slightly wet in the pan, but it applies like a powder, and just that more emollient feel melts into the skin. It definitely leaves behind a more luminous sheen compared to their pure color blush formula, which is all powder. And next we have number 10, Okuhibiki, described to be a deep berry with a matte finish. And comparing these shades to the ones that already exist in the collection, I have here number 2, Haruoto, which I think leans more camellia pink compared to a number 10. Definitely number 10 is a little more berry. And I also have number 4, Sumiro, one of my most favorite shades when I first tried the melting powder blush shades. This I feel is a warmer beige compared to number 9. You see it has a little more like tan brown in there. On to, let me turn the page. Next, the Suqqu Pure Color Blushes, 2 limited edition shades. We have 132 and 133. I already showed 132 in my first video, Momijigan, a vermilion red with gold pearl highlights. And now 133, Akinagare, a warm orange, brown, pink, pale green, whoa, highlighter, soft glow for subtle color. that was a mouthful. This definitely will serve again for me as like a cheek highlight. You can see there's the orange tone in the pan. It's not going to give the same color richness as 132. I have a few comparisons here. Again, this is number 127. I cannot recall from what collection this is from, but it is orange toned, and I wanted to swatch it right next to 133. So you see you get a little more orange from that shade. I also have 125, which is more of like a, dare I say, like a almost like a coral peachy orange shade, and very light on my skin tone. And lastly, we have 123. I believe this released in a previous holiday collection. This is like more of an orange brown shade, but I still wanted to compare. And again, this is the original from the current autumn winter collection. And now for the highlighter sticks, man oh man, highly anticipated, because the two highlighter sticks I think released like 2 years ago. 101 is like this, it's hard to see on camera. It has like a lime green tint to it, but you basically can see from the swatch on my hand that it's more like a glass skin effect, multi-purpose, multi-use, universal in terms of the skin tones it can work on, because it's mostly a translucent balm. And if you don't want like a certain color on your skin as highlight or any type of texture, then this is the way to go. And the second color, 102, is a hollow pink. This definitely serves more as like a shimmer stick, and next to 101, this is going to give definitely that pink undertone, and there are little sparklies in the formula for sure. You will see it on the skin. If you do have both sticks, you can apply 101 first and then 102 on top. And this is the old 101 from a few years ago, and to compare it to the current 101, you can see, I think, better that slight green tone, and the original 101 is still, you know, maybe with a little bit of pink, but overall is again that translucent base. And the previous 102 is a gold. I'm going to swatch it right next to the current 102. So here you see the current 102 is pink, and the one from a few years ago is that beautiful gold. And the gold one doesn't have the sparklies in there. So I think that's probably the advantage between the one from a few years back and this year. It's just like that gold champagne texture on the skin, super smooth. One of my most favorite highlighter products in my entire collection. If I just wanted to go super minimal, to not rely on a powder product for my highlighter, but just to have that natural glass skin effect, it's just ultimately achieved with a cream product, especially one that's translucent. And the texture for these balms are incredible. They don't feel sticky on the skin. They don't feel just weird, and they don't disrupt your makeup application either. It just melts into the cheekbones. It plays well with other formulas. If you wanted to apply it over the pure color blush or the melting powder formula, it's not going to look strange, uneven, and splotchy on the skin. It just lays down perfectly. And now to have both textures, which I think is a great way to go. Again, you can layer on the glass translucent balm first and then the more shimmery formula on top. If you want something a little more emollient or use the hollow pink one solo, you can go several ways. But again, these highlighter sticks, all-time favorite, the best. They're like the dual highlight sticks from Pat McGrath Labs. One end is like the translucent, the other is the more shimmer. You see, it's just that's a good way to go. You gotta have both. And now for the sheer matte lipsticks. I encountered from this collection the best looking beige I have ever worn in my entire life. You're gonna see it in a minute. 2 permanent shades and 3 limited edition ones. I believe the limited numbers are distinguishable by 3 digits versus 2. Let's start with number 13, Yuka, a floral pink that brightens the complexion with natural warmth. Why don't we see these on the lips? And for us to accomplish that, I think it's time for you to come in a little closer. That's enough. Again, I gush over the sheer matte formula because it's just one of the most uniquely created lipstick textures out there. Yes, it's sheer, but it gives the right amount of color, not overly shiny. If you don't like a glossy finish or a satin one, just something that sits right in the middle that's not super matte dry. And you know how I am with pinks. I'm a little funny with it. I still haven't found my relationship status with it yet, but this one is so pretty. It's just the right amount of pink. And yes, when I apply a little bit of blush, why don't we do that now? I'll go in with the more berry shade, number 10. And my apologies in advance for being all over the place with these timestamps. We're gonna try our best. Let's go in with number 10, the more berry tone shade. And I'm placing that just all over the complexion. And yes, number 13 might lean a little more coral, but it works. I don't know how, but it's there. And on the other side, we have number 9, which again is serving more of like a lightweight purpose. It's not as in your face as the berry tone. It's like a barely there color for sure. In person you can see it more because I am in front of natural light, and with additional ones here it's going to take away some of the color, but I think in person it looks great. I do prefer Sumiro because it's a little bit warmer, but this isn't bad, especially if I combine it with the berry shade right on top to create that gradient. Is quite pretty. And why not going into the hollow pink shade, which I think will look lovely with both blushes. So I typically just like to take some on my fingertip, place it here on the cheekbones. You can go on the cheekbones, you can go a little lower on the majority of your cheek here. And again, hard to see on camera, but there are little sparklies here that if you're not a fan of, just know they are present in this formula. It doesn't look glittery, but again, if you rather just have an exclusive shimmer type of a texture, then we might have to wait until they release another highlighter stick like they did a few years back with the gold shade. Up next, we have number 14. Oh my goodness. Yawatsutsumi Sophisticated Nude Beige blends seamlessly with bare lips for a no makeup look. The last time I encountered a shade like this that just stopped me in my tracks, that stole my breath away, was the Fluid Glow formula in number 8. Let me quickly make a comparison swatch. Again, this is number 14. That number's etched in my memory forever. Number 8, I believe, is Harutsumi. My apologies if I'm getting that wrong. Maybe a little cooler, but it has like that similar vibe. It's not too warm, not too neutral either. If you're around my skin tone and you've been searching still on the quest for the beige that doesn't wash you out, that adds just volume to the lips, shape to the lip, pairs well with whatever eye look you apply, with whatever blush, this right here, and it's permanent. Yes, not limited edition. So if you're still waiting on it, if you're on a budget, if you're on a no buy, low buy, we can wait and not feel pressured to run after the shade. Now to the limited edition shades, starting with 110, Ayaazuki, a deep copper red with delicate gold shimmer particles. I went on and on and on about this shade, but you could just see how I'm a fan of muted, desaturated reds that are not super intense, but just enough to make me look grown with that sophistication and elegance all at the same time. Next up, we have 111, Jyukubudou, a unique silver mauve shade with a soft silver pearl. Oh yeah, I see the pearl. I know it's not as obvious, and I'm not sure if you can make it out from the bullet, but do you see that iridescent finish? Providing a little more color here. Listen, these berry-like tones, yes, I don't wear them as often. I have to get over it, but this is lovely. And the texture, again, like a soft, moussey glide against the skin. I don't feel like I have to stay in the lines, beyond silky to apply, and just comfortable. It's a lovely color, and I have to find a way to incorporate this into my makeup routine going forward because, yeah, it deserves that much. And lastly, 112, Houjitsu, a warm orange brown with a subtle shimmer reminiscent of twilight in autumn. Oh my goodness. Yes, there is a shimmer here. I think this is a new thing for Suqqu to include shimmers in their sheer matte formula. This is more of a muted orange, unlike the vibrant shade orange we have in the summer collection. Fantastic if you love orange, but you don't necessarily subscribe to like the big wham boom, and that's okay. You know, there are shades for all, but when it comes to the orange category, it's nice to have opportunities to wear the shade without feeling like it takes over the entire complexion. And Suqqu is just so intelligent with how they approach lipstick colors that even if you wore the summer orange anyway, I still think it approachable because of the sheer matte formula. It just makes it so it's easy to use and easy to wear. But this is absolutely gorgeous with that ruddy orange tone, and to have the gold shimmer in the formula to give a little bit of that sheen. And while we're here, I will gently wipe off this blush and reapply some foundation so we can see the pure color blush shade in action. Applying 133 first, just so you can see a little bit of that orange hue, because it does get lost on my skin tone anyway when I apply it with 132. Friends, my apologies. There just a lot of traffic going on today, and I have to keep the foot on the pedal for filming because mama needs to go to the gym, okay? Again, showing this shade on its own, because it does have a really beautiful glow to the skin, but exclusively relying it for blushing purposes on me, not ideal. So how I would approach this is go in with 132 first, which you already know my thoughts on 132. A little higher here on the cheeks, and then I'll have it trail down closer. I like to also place this on the forehead because it gives me that beautiful toasted look without looking overwhelmingly red. It delivers that heat, but it holds back at the same time. And now introducing 132, again, more as like a highlight that gives a little bit of that orange hue on the skin. And I'll apply this with a smaller brush so I could concentrate the color more on the tops of my cheeks. And I can bring the lighter shade here that has a lot of different color pearl. So beautiful to use as a highlight that's very subtle and soft on the skin. And again, you can use the highlighter stick on any type of formula. So let's say you change your mind, right? And you're like, I want to apply this stick, and you already have powder on your skin. Like nothing was even there before. You can apply this and go in with the powder, and the highlighter stick acts as a reinforcement, and it goes perfectly well because it's hard to see, but the powder here has like a similar greenish undertone, like that lime type of hue to the pearl. So they just match perfectly. I'm gonna do it on this side as well because why not? If you want it, as you saw, we got two different gradients. I can keep that as is higher on the cheekbones and then take more of the yellow gold lower on the cheeks, right, to create more of like that prominent sunshine look to the cheeks. Now with our signature color eye quads, number 10, Irohaatsume. I wore this yesterday and was just blown away by how beautiful this matte was. It's earthy but has a beautiful hardiness to it, super smooth. As if you don't already know, Suqqu mattes are outrageous. And then I'll place here some on the lower lash line, taking this beautiful taupe brown with my finger and placing it on the lid, overlapping with the warmer matte shade. And I don't know if you can tell, but just look how beautifully colored this satin shimmer is. It's so lovely. It's not all the way taupe. It almost has like a, I don't want to say it has a copperiness to it, but there is just a little more full body than your typical taupe. And this shade here, I would consider to be Suqqu's topper shade. It has like that quartz base, but lovely to place over any of the metallic shimmers in here. So it's gonna brighten up the center of the lid. I especially love, of course, as you probably suspected, love to place this on the inner corner as our standout highlight shade, and to take this just daffodil kind of orange yellow now in the inner corner of the eye, and the way it brightens it up overlaps with the matte. We got to go in with liner 105. I'm dying to see how this looks now with these shades on the lid. Ooh, that's pretty. I like that. And you can see the color well too. It has like a lovely brightness to it. And if you need to, because colored liners can be tricky, it's kind of like nail polish. You might need to wait for the first layer to dry, and then you can go on it again just to build up the vibrancy. Now for the second quad, number 11. You know what? I would like to go in with the purple shade all over the lid because the texture is beyond smooth, and I think a great way to go because you can blend it through the crease. Yeah, you don't have to rely on the matte in this palette because the texture is so smooth. You can whip it through the crease once you've applied the majority of the shade on the lid, just softly. And look, although it looks vibrant, it's like, oh no, can I use that? You absolutely can. I don't think this is so out of place that you might feel uncomfortable wearing the shade. And I understand how you might, but give it a shot. You know, maybe if you're not going anywhere and you're just hanging out at home, apply this shade on the lid and see how it goes. I'm placing this also on the lower lash line just to see how beautifully, kind of how it wraps the eye. That's pretty. And just like we did in the previous quad, this is more of like a taupey quartzy highlighter shade, like a topper shade. It's like Pat McGrath's Astral shades, but more chill. And then with this icy blue, which I think is in this topper shade, one of the Reflect Pearl shades, now on the inner part of the eye, just flicking it towards the magenta shade. And although we didn't use the matte, I know you're like, Alicia, you can tap a little bit here on the outer part of the lid just to bracket the color, right? Not have it travel too high up. That's why I'm purposefully using a smaller brush, just so it could fit right here on the outer part of the eye. Lightly pull it through the crease so it doesn't overwhelm the look too much. But you know, this matte packs a punch. As you see, I picked up quite a bit. No worries. We'll take a clean, fluffy brush, whip it through the edges of that matte application so it will soften and kind of, you know, create that blurred out effect. If you need to keep it tighter to the lid, you absolutely can. If you want to bring a little more color here on the outer quarter of the lower lash line, just so that intensity can wrap and it doesn't look like it's cut off, you know, that's just a personal choice. On the inner part of the lid, we can pick a smaller brush to place that icy blue shade even more here on the under eye because it's such a lovely shade, and I think it pairs beautifully with the violet shade that we have on the lid. And believe it or not, I think the pink shade will go very well with this eye. I know we didn't go with the olive. I might have to save that for another video. I'm so sorry, because I think the olive will look killer with the limited edition quad. That'll be really pretty. But let's go in with Dusty Pink. I know I already went in with Dusty Pink on the first video, but I just can't pass up this opportunity. Oh yes, I love that. And the lips, surprisingly, you know, as you could probably tell, this is looking killer with the first eye. The second eye, we could go in with the beige. You know that's gonna look tremendously good, but I think we should give that berry shade a chance. I'll apply some mascara and I'll be right back. And here are some close-up shots of the final look. I can't say anything more about this collection. I think Suqqu just fully comprehended any type of inspiration that can emerge from autumn and winter. They got the icy, the warm, just the different facets of those seasons, especially when one transitions into the other, how there are different tones when that happens. And I think all the shades included everything from the eyeshadow through the lipsticks, again, just fully represented. And I can't speak more about the formulas, the eyeshadow formulas, the lipsticks, the highlighters, the blushes, all remarkable. I'm happy that they used the melting blush formula to address the cooler part of the collection and then the pure color blush for the warmer. I think that's neat that you have an autumn winter collection that speaks to both seasons, that has both vibes in terms of warm and cool. Like, yeah, why not throw it all in there, because that's what happens naturally when the seasons occur. And I would recommend this brand who loves luxury, especially if you're into eyeshadow quads versus eyeshadow palette, who just prefers a more minimalist approach to makeup, just simple but still elegant, luxe, sophisticated, and the formulas will hold you down. You will not be led astray. You will have your hand held the entire time with all the textures, formulas you will encounter with Suqqu. It's just effortless and seamless, and I think that's why I keep returning to the brand, because I've never been let down. Just exquisite. I can't say more about this collection. Of course, fam, you had already let me know of what you purchased in my first video. Let me know if you picked up anything else, if you went back, if you're waiting on some items. I will see you down in those comments. And until then, that is a wrap. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope this video helped, and if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up or maybe consider subscribing to my channel. And until then, I will see you on here again with another review tutorial, Suqqu, extravaganza, or monthly fave. Take care, and I will see you again soon.